Hey, what's up guys? Chuck the CrossFit Selfie. We're going to talk about a few things here today, specifically the hips. More specifically, the thigh. Talk about the hip flexor, kind of the quad going all the way down to the knee, how to stretch those out, how to prep those for exercise, and how to kind of undo those once you've done the exercise, kind of recovering from a leg heavy day. So a few different exercises we're going to go through. The first is the couch stretch, traditionally kind of called the couch stretch. What you're going to do is you can do it on a box and also do it on your couch at home. You're just going to put the back foot up and you're going to sit up tall. What you want to keep is those ribs tucked in, squeezing the butt, pressing that hip forward. You can really feel a stretch right here down the center of the thigh. Pressing the hip forward, no faces, and then holding this position for a while. If you're watching TV, if anybody still watches TV, a commercial break's usually like 2 minutes. There'll be like 4 30-second commercials. That's a pretty good amount of time. So if you can spend 2 minutes on each leg in between commercial breaks, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good start. So this is the first stretch right here, the couch stretch. Try and get the heel on the butt, chest up, ribs down, butt squeeze. Okay? The second stretch would be kind of for the top of the hip flexor. This area right here oftentimes gets bound up. If you're working a desk job, if you're a keyboard athlete in this position all the time, it's going to get tight. And when you stand up, it's going to be bound up and tight. Oftentimes, kind of like it's pulling on my shorts, it's going to pull on the kneecap. See my shorts coming up? It's pulling on the kneecap deep down in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this band, my trusty squishy plate, and I'm going to step into the band. You can see this. I'm stepping into the band, kind of putting this up underneath my butt. And I'm going to step forward, do it the other way. Step forward, so you guys can see right under the butt. Step back on my squishy plate, and again, I'm going to press the hip forward. I can feel a stretch a little bit higher in that leg. The other stretch was a little bit lower, a little bit more distal. What I'm working on is the proximal, or the high part, the insertion of the quad. Okay? Hip flexor pressing into that, kind of rotating back and forth, spending some time in here. Again, 2 minutes, the time of the commercial break is a pretty good place to start. Really spending some time here, the length of your favorite song, the commercial break, pressing the hips forward, keeping the chest up, squeezing the butt. Okay, and what we can do is combine those two into, let's say, the ultimate leg hip flexor stretch. So I'm going to combine both the hip flexor and kind of the quad stretch, or the couch stretch, into one horrible, terrible stretch. Prop my foot up, so in this position, I'm allowing the band to pull me forward so I can just relax and let the pain come to me. Just hang out in this position, squeezing the butt, keeping the chest upright. The band's going to pull my hip forward, deepening that stretch. So all I need to do is hang out here. I don't need to fight the band. I'm not pulling on the band. Just allowing the band to do the work. Squeezing my butt, keeping the chest up, ribs in, just relaxing, hanging out here for the length of your favorite song. What we can also do is work on pigeon pose. Working on pigeon pose. So we got the quads right there. What we're going to work on is this external rotation, that driving the knees out, that for a lot of athletes is really a problem. So we're going to work on a little bit deeper tissues, kind of in the glute, in the hips. So I'm going to step in, so you guys can't see this, I'm going to step in, do this with the other leg. So I'm going to kind of walk out at an angle. I want this pulling on my butt, either back or out to the side. I don't really want it pull it sideways, I guess. It's up to you. Kind of each position is going to be a little bit different in the glute and the hamstring, or the glute and the hip capsule. So what I'm looking for here is just kind of hanging out, letting this band pull me a little bit deeper into the stretch. Pull me sideways, kind of rock back and forth, floss those areas, turn a little bit, allow the band to pull me back. And if I want to deepen the stretch, just putting on my elbows or put my head on the ground, trying to touch my belly button to my shin, allowing the band to pull me back, and it's pulling my thigh bone out, kind of pulling into those deeper tissues in my glute that I may not be able to get without the band. So it's a really good way of deepening the stretch, kind of getting into some tissues that you might not otherwise be able to get into. Okay? So again, 2 minutes in each position, a couple times a day. There are no days off of mobility. See you next time.